right. Welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 219. So today is Saturday, I guess, so there's no updates on the rent eviction situation and the anticipated appeal process. There's still a sponsored block type available, one more, and then I'll be forced to add some more. And there's one more video in the queue that I'm saving because right now today I actually did some recording for the next video, and I'm not sure when that'll be. Definitely be more than a week until that's done. Other than that, we will continue on with some work on the terminal block mining game, and I probably won't stream as long today. Cybernetic logos. Hello. Do you believe consciousness can arise in patterns of bosons or only fermions? I don't know. I don't think we have a good definition for what consciousness is. But you said, I forget the definition of bosons and fermions, but I assume that you need both. Let's see, bosons. I think bosons include like neutrons and protons, and electrons are fermions, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I did any nuclear physics. Fermions are matter and electrons. Oh, so fermions are electrons and neutrons? Okay. Well, I assume consciousness, like if you came up with a definition of biological consciousness in humans, it probably requires all of them. Probably need electrons, neutrons, and protons, because it would be like a chemical process. Chemistry would have to be involved there somewhere. It wouldn't be a purely nuclear process. Now, today I was thinking about how I'm going to actually implement this. I've been kind of struggling with this kind of like some circular dependencies for how to bootstrap some of the multiplayer stuff. Because for multiplayer, I need the concept of like multiple player objects on the server, and then I need to provision those according to something. And I keep running into, I basically need like some initial like bootstrapping command. So I want to make most of the commands involve just like read and write operations on blocks as much as possible. But some things will have to be outside of that, because like to create the player object, when you don't know anything about the structure or size or location of the world, you're gonna have to just ask for like a pointer. So I'll probably implement that message today. So do you believe bosons can, is the question. Do you believe consciousness can arise in patterns of bosons? In patterns of exclusively bosons? I assume. Well, first of all, it's like I don't know. To me, it's one of those vague philosophical questions I don't really care for. About what is consciousness? But I think if you could pin it down to like a physical process, like what is the chemical physical process of consciousness in a human brain, as we would define it. There's probably going to be chemistry involved in there somewhere, which is, I don't think you'd really even care to distinguish between the standard model stuff. You'd be thinking about chemical stuff, or even higher level like enzymes and chilling after work, says Robert. How's it going? Something like it for Java. A computer does not use bosons. It doesn't use bosons? Well, computers run on atoms, and atoms have, I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember the definition of a boson, but I'm pretty sure it includes like the protons or neutrons or something. You need all that stuff for most things. Protons are made of quarks. So fermion, same with electron and neutron. Electrons are elementary particles, aren't they? There's no quarks in electrons. Last I looked into it. elementary particle, still fermion. E is a lepton, which is fermion. Yeah, I forget my standard model hierarchy. There's muons. I think a muon is a high energy electron. And a muon, it's also a lepton. And I guess the fact that it's a fermion, I guess that's news to me. Or maybe it's been a long time since I stared at the diagram. Do you believe in God? Not really. But then again, there's also like, I don't know, when you try to like distill down the axioms of the universe, there's some kind of weird, like you cannot purely rely on a mathematical and logical map for navigating the universe. Stuff like that was proved by like Gödel's incompleteness theorem and stuff. Looking at the chart, muon, high energy electron. Nice. I remembered my nuclear physics. But also, that's as far as we know. I guess theoretically, an electron could be a composite particle. What's your perspective on life and death, evil versus good? I would say, personally, this is something I don't really struggle very much with. Even though some people don't really like accept this line of reasoning, but personally, I feel like I can just like use logic to get me into a pretty good situation of why it's good to do things that are good and not evil. And you could, like, I was trying and explain it, I'd probably distill it down to like arguments about entropy and about like relationships to like how if you have a society that's full of like life that's actually thriving, there's like, you can make some statement about the entropy state of that society, but if a society that's like full of misery and where people die all the time, and there's lots of waste and suffering, I think you could make another argument about the entropy state there, like the terminal state of a decaying society is just like a barren rock, a barren frozen wasteland. Actually, I think what was it like? I think it's I'm not sure if I'm making this up, but I think that some of the ancient philosophers said that hell was actually cold and not hot. So that also supports my argument about entropy. And to me, it's just like, you don't even need the arguments about entropy. You can just like have a nice society where everyone's nice and there's no evil, and everyone can just play video games and write block mining simulation games and drink lemonade and have cats that sit on the windowsill. I wrote to Douglas Hofstadter today. I'm not sure who that is. Entropy was how I talked when I was an atheist. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I made it to this age without being interested in religion I don't think I'll convert anytime soon. What's your opinion on religion? Have you looked into them? Not really. Although, like, from what I know about them, personally, what actually kind of looks like to envy from them is, like in this day and age, it almost seems like like if you wanted to try and build some community, joining like a church or something, that seems like about the only option these days. So aside from the direct actual religious aspect, like the just community formation is seems to be its like evolutionary purpose. I'm an expert on religions. Interesting. I assume it would take a lot of work to become an expert. I thought a few times like it would be interesting after having done what I've done to just like to get like a master's degree in religion or something, because I honestly have no idea what you would even learn. Like if you take civil engineering, you take a class on like compressive forces and like finite element analysis and materials and building codes and stuff like that. But if you go to like a religious school, what's your morning class going to be? What's the afternoon class? What's the group project going to be? Religion was the single most civilizing factor in early civilizations. I believe that. The Abrahamic faiths are very interesting. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. You can go to Bible college and read ancient texts, although you probably want a liberal arts school with a religious major. Islam seems to have a lot more practicing members. You could just walk into most religions. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I probably won't bother going that way anytime soon. Religion, spicy? Yep, it can be. Doing Morpheus shit with the PC again. Yep. Red pill me? What kind of red pill do you want? There's many red pills to distribute. All right, that compiles. You're racist? Met so many good people of all races? Well, I don't know. We're getting, Aero Part 2 said, we're getting pretty spicy now. Let's talk about block mining simulation games. Eventually, once we all live in the metaverse, we won't have racism anymore. Because we'll all be block people. Kirby9373 says, hi, how's it going? Gaming Schweincraft says, hello, how's it going? Not too bad, just doing some incremental progress tonight. Tonight the goal is just to add a couple message types and get it compiling. And I'll probably take off early again to continue work on the next video. Golden Hat says hello again. How's it going? Taking a break to eat chicken dip. Chicken dip and chips. Chips. Chicken dip and chips. Chicken dip. Is the dip for the chicken or for the chips? Wonder how much are the funds in the future? You mean for the raising funds part? I really need to go back and add up the total. It's probably close to $3,000 or so cumulatively. Nice. Thank you very much for the $2. Chimken dip. Chimken dip for the chips. Thank you very much. I used to like buying. I think it was dill pickle. It was like onion and dill pickle dip for chips, and you get Ruffles chips and dip them in it. It was really good. Haven't had that in a while though. Watermelon and ketchup is underrated. Watermelon and ketchup. I never heard of that before. Can anyone in chat tell me what the code is for? Speakers are broken. Yeah, so this is I'm in the beginning stages of doing some work for implementing multiplayer. So I've added we just added this new message type. So this will be when you first when you first create a world, you'll have to send some messages to provision a player. Are we really getting universal rent because AI is replacing us, like Elon said? I really don't think so. On one hand, like the way a lot of people are talking now about, like, jobs being replaced and stuff like that, it doesn't make any sense, because like we've got some other problems going on. Like the problem, the amount of work that needs to be done. Like one of my principal axioms is that jobs are equivalent to problems. If we have problems in society, that means we have jobs that consist of solving the problems. Like when random people are in the forest in prehistory, you could say, what were the jobs 5,000 years ago? The jobs were get water, get firewood, make a house out of stones, and that was the work. Those were the jobs. People running around the forest. Where did they work at? They worked on survival. And it's the exact same thing today. So we need to we have the job of building houses and stuff, getting food, and with all the automation and stuff, the question is why are so many people struggling? Why do so many people work all the time and they can't afford food and they can't afford housing? And we have 50-year mortgages. Think about how insane that is for a second. When you just picture a house that costs $1 million, you pay for it for 50 years now. So supposedly you get a job somewhere, you work somewhere to pay off the house. Well, what if you just went in the forest and physically picked up pieces of wood to build your house? How long would it take? Count how many boards are there in your house? How much time would it take you to physically make the bricks in your house? If you just think about one person sitting there by themselves with a pile of wood and stuff making a house. Yeah, so where did those other 49 years go? Something is not adding up about how society works in a really, really big way. It's a monumental task to build a house by yourself. Let's say it takes even more years, or you're making more fans a year. Or if you imagine a guy out there chipping away at bricks and stuff. I mean, if you sat there 8 hours a day, chipping away at stonework, trying to make your own bricks to build a house, that would take a long time. But you come back a couple months later and they've got one wall done, and a couple more months and they've got the other wall done. And it's not gonna, if you let that person go for 50 years, they're gonna build more than one house. I kind of think if we get universal basic income, the cost of rent will just go up by whatever the universal basic income amount is. So if we start getting $1,000 a month, immediately all rent everywhere goes up $1,000. So it ends up being a money transfer from the government to whoever owns the property, and then everyone still has to work anyway. That stimulus check inflation. Yep, but even more inflation than that. I think I don't know. Eventually, people will kind of snap out of it, and I think we'll start to realize the jobs of the future will consist of solving our problems by definition. Okay. Okay, I think that might do what I want. Calm before the storm. 76 says, how's it going, Robert? Not too bad. I did some recording today on the next video. Today I'll do a shorter stream today, just to add a couple of new classes for a new API that I want to add to the block mining game, with the eventual goal of getting toward multiplayer support. Being productive, a bit. I don't know. On a day-to-day basis, it feels like it doesn't feel like I accomplish much on a day-to-day basis, but I'm grinding away at the universe. But every day, the universe grinds back at me. Okay, this looks like it's working. All right. I think I will declare victory today, even though that's a shorter stream. But yeah, for the next little bit, I'll probably just do shorter streams and then focus on getting the next video out. Robert's slowly becoming Kiki Chand. Soon people will ask him what he's been doing, and he'll say, with his jaw pointed, I've been grinding. Yep. I struggle every day to win against entropy. Usually lose. Yeah, it's hard. Everything is like, you set something up and then, like, with everything. So online accounts, everything's getting banned and you gotta get things reactivated and gotta update software and things break and computers break, fans go bad. Things have to be renewed. Things expire. People are not following through very well. That's why things are broken. Yep. Software rot. So that's only one form of fraud. There's many others. Buvan Menjunta says, yo, how's it going? Everything's getting intolerable up there. Come on down south. Yeah, I don't know. It's we'll see what happens if Canada totally collapses, becomes a communist country. Then I'll have to run away somewhere. Food production has literally never been cheaper in human history, yet groceries only go up. Trying to make sense. Yeah, that's why I say, like, there's there's a whole bunch of contradictions. So, like, we always talk about these productivities gains. I mean, the best metric, like they say, children are our most precious resource. So if children are our most precious resource, and we're getting so efficient and productive, why are we having less children? And if you go into the questions, they'll always like, oh, it's this trend and that trend, but it's like, number one thing is everything comes down to financials. Dishonest, they're becoming more bold. Yeah, I don't know. The world seems like it's really in flux right now. I mean, if you follow all the crazy stuff that's coming out in the news, and I don't know, it seems like people are kind of almost losing their minds to, like, there's a ton of, like, if you check Twitter, there's tons of, people whistleblowing stuff, but I don't know what is actually real. So many conspiracy theories, like the crazy conspiracy theories seem more and more real all the time. So what is real? I don't know anymore. UV light even rots? Yeah, if you put some plastic out. And it's important in printing. You have to make sure you get, if you get dye-based inks, they'll fade. Sorry, I couldn't purchase a subscription of yours. Issue with my purchase will be resolved soon. Oh, thank you very much. Decays even plastic to weird dry scales. Yeah, UV radiation is high energy. Got friends in New Mexico. That's good, I guess. Thinking about the food situation. It's not a trend. People don't feel secure enough to have children. Yeah, I think that's a big component of it. And also, just like, money buys the opportunity to be in a place where you can network and meet the people with which you can actually have children. I don't think people can even have kids. Gender relations are so bad. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say on that too. Like, online everything seems very, like, acrimonious, but also in, like online you see, like, a lot of videos of, like, women going viral who are, like, they're super, like, angry and confrontational and stuff. But I find it more and more in person, there's a lot of women that are suffering, I think, from, like, that are, like, really beat down by society, and they're kind of on the verge of mental breakdown, which is not necessarily just something women are going through. Everyone, the weight of the world is getting heavier. Keep it real? Sure, I will. Can afford food and shelter, but men kind of hate each other. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like, since the pandemic, I haven't done a lot of networking, but the small amount I have, I've noticed there does seem to be, there seems to be a lot more distrust, and I guess some of it is earned because people are less trustworthy now. Women are overwhelmed. Yeah, we made them, we forced them all to get jobs and work super hard, and we also didn't. I think there's a lot of women that like, women think, people see the world through the lens of their own mind, and women want a, like, successful, career-oriented man. So then they'll do a career, and they're like, oh, I'll just become a girl boss. That'll make me super popular with men, and then they do that until they get to like 45 years old, and like, all right, I'm the CEO now. Time to start dating, and it doesn't work out. The T app didn't help for sure. I think I heard about that. There was a leak with it or something. Remember ever catch cheaters in class? Oh, in college? Yeah. There was plagiarism and stuff. People are an unreliable resource. As a group, there's some individuals are reliable. Need some advice. I like to open an e-commerce site in Italy, but you need a VAT number. And unfortunately, I don't have the money to pay it. What do you recommend? Like you open an online e-commerce site, but here, so you're in Italy, you need a VAT number. So the VAT number is that's given to you by, I assume, your local authority, like tax authority, probably in Italy. I actually looked into e-commerce. Well, when I was doing my Kickstarters, I did like a few $1,000s worth of sales, and I looked a bit more into like, because it used to be easy to sell into EU, but then they brought in this like one-stop shop thing, and it made it way more complicated, and it killed a lot of the business model for a lot of Kickstarter projects. I forget what the rules are. I think if I remember correctly, the one-stop shop thing, which I last looked into this several years ago, and so it's probably all changed because they change everything like every year. I think the one-stop shop thing was meant to like make it easier to do business within EU if you're already in there. Yeah, I don't know what the rules would be if you're in the EU selling to other people in the EU. I mean, so for anyone starting a store, the most likely outcome is that they set up the store and then they don't get as much sales as they want of that product, and then they end up shutting it down. So if there's a way you can like test out, validate, if there's some other way you can validate whether you're actually going to even get sales or not. So like one option you could do, you said you need the VAT number. Do you need it to start the e-commerce page, or can you just start the e-commerce page and then like make the sales and then just like keep that outstanding liability? Because not a realistic outcome would be you set up a store, you make like $100 in sales. Now you have like, theoretically, you have to remit like $5 in VAT or €5, and then you decide it's not economically feasible, so that now you owe the tax authority $5, and maybe you pay it, maybe you don't, and if they come after you, the liability is $5. Do e-commerce sites work? If you can get the sales. Yeah, I think like for Shopify, you can set up a store, and then it's like it's your own thing to do the VAT. So I think you could set it up just to see like, do you even get sales? Because going through all the like compliance and regulatory stuff is just so much work, and then if you end up shutting it down afterward, it ends up being a waste. Right now, selling product or service, catering to the wealthy, seems like a prudent choice. Yeah, if you can get the sales, basically VAT number service you have to pay to continue. Or e-commerce, it's about €8,000 even with Shopify. So you have to pay to get a VAT number. I thought a VAT number was like your tax number that the local tax authority assigned to you. So you're like, you have a business, here's your VAT number, and then when you remit the VAT, or I think the VAT's collected at, I forget. I think it was the opposite of GST. Oh yeah, VAT has to be included in the price, and then you have to, as the merchant, you have to take it out of the revenue and then submit it to the tax authority with that VAT number. But I was not aware it costs money to get a VAT, because is it the government is charging you 8,000 euros? I know there are companies that'll like do your VAT filing for you. Value-added tax. It's the like European Union sales tax. But I know, like, when I looked into selling into Europe, it was there were all these like sketchy third-party services that were just like that. They'd say like, give us 8,000 euros and we'll file your VAT for you. The state charges you 8,000 euros a year to have a VAT number? That's crazy. I'm gonna have to look that up. Wow, I've no idea. Like that, 8,000 euros a year. That sounds like it's basically just would completely wipe out any small business formation. Like if I had to pay that, that would wipe me out totally. VAT number. Yeah, if it's with you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm almost skeptical that that's even correct. But like because you're already paying taxes, like the VAT. I assume you're talking about VAT, value-added tax, which you send to the government. Is that what this VAT number is for? It's for sending tax to the government? Do you think it's possible to get an undergraduate research position with low grades? Yes, if you network around and talk to the right people. I guess if you have low grades, but you're like inquisitive, intelligent, and motivated, then you can just go to like the grad network to the right professors and talk to them about like research positions and stuff, and ask them what they're looking for, and just to like inquire about what they're looking for and stuff. And they may say like, we really want someone with this and that, and if you've talked about that before, then later you might be able to be like, oh, pretty please, I tried hard and I get close. And then especially if you've actually had conversations about, potential research projects and how you have all these cool ideas about where to take the project. And I think actually research positions are not technically is kind of a scam. Like a lot of academia is kind of a scam, and that it's kind of an illusion where they make you, they want everyone to be competing in trying to get like high grades and stuff, so they work really hard. So they can kind of beat you down and be like, oh, sorry, you better work harder, your grades aren't, you're not good enough, you're on borrowed time. But I think it's research positions, like it depends who you're working under, but I think they're like unglamorous. You work really hard for potentially low return, and depending on the college or depending on the institution, some professors take advantage of undergrad students. So anyway, that's all stuff to look into. Worked in medical device sales almost 2 decades ago. Anyone needs help getting into that industry? Need some help? Let me know. All right, I don't have any plans to go into that, but I guess if there's anyone in chat, feel free to reach out. All right, I said I'd do a shorter stream today. We're approaching the end. I'll have to look up that thing about Italian fat. That's quite surprising to me. But oh wow, I've got a super chat. Do you know of any way of getting college credit without having college classmates or professors? For USA peeps, kind of hard. Social anxiety. College credit without college classmates or professors. I guess there's online. You can do online courses and stuff, but honestly, the way the job market has been going, the way like the recent trends in like how people get jobs, like because AI, there's so much AI slop, and there's like North Korean people using like photo filters and stuff to like scam interviewers and stuff. There's like way like it was always bad before, but there's less trust now in like kind of impersonal stuff. So one of the big advantages you get from like going to a college in person is you get to like physically sit in the same room as someone. And if you do that for, sit in the same room, even if you don't really talk to them or aren't friends with them, if you sit in the same room with them for 1,000 hours, you know for sure that they're not like a North Korean hacker or a spy or something. Or they might still be a spy, but you at least have some kind of, baseline. So like, if that person works at a place that's hiring and you talk to them, say like, hey, do you know anywhere that's hiring? Then that can give you a good in for getting jobs. So, yeah, I don't know. But I guess if you want to optimize your career, probably in this day and age, maybe even overcoming the social anxiety might even put you more ahead than a couple course credits. Here's the story of the one who was helping dozens of men who turned out to be North Koreans. She had dozens of laptops at home to fake the location problem. Yeah, I think I saw something about that. So that's another thing we have to contend with. We got fake everything, AI slop, North Korean hackers pretending to be in America doing jobs, and they were apparently they were doing good work too. I'm back. All right, just in time. I was going to call it a night and continue work on getting the next video together. All right, that'll be it for tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow night for day 220. Later.